Hello everyone and welcome to the mill. Today we are going to be looking closer at Stamp Swap, which is our newest game from Stonemaier Games in 2024. And at the mill today I am going to bring you through a partial solo playthrough. I'll go over the simplified version because there's a couple ways to play it solo. So my goal is to help break you into Stamp Swap solo mode because I found it a little bit it kind of burned my brain a little bit to get started. So I'm going to help you get through that the simple mode, and I'll give you probably about one round of a playthrough to just help get you going so that you can play Stamp Swap solo. So I'm going to change the camera and go down to the table and show you Stamp Swap. All right, everyone, here we are at the table with some solo Stamp Swap. I have it set up for the most part, but I'm going to run through some of the solo mode pieces just so you get an idea of what I changed. So I said we're going to play intro mode, which is actually what they call it, and just because that'll be what will get you started. So we're playing intro mode. So if we go to setup, just so you know, the first player marker, which is here, is not used, so I have that set to the side. I've also already removed some of these attendee cards. It's 1, 5, 6, and 9, and conveniently they have the no automa symbol right there, so those are already removed from the deck. Now, you also replace the event cards with the Pinzetta event cards. So the event cards are gone. That's these. Those are no longer in. We're not using that for solo mode. Though we do have the similar color ones with the Automa gear symbol, and those will be the ones that we're using here. All right, so that'll be the symbol that you're looking for. Okay, so now for my mat, what I had to be careful of, I have the space stamp mat. Notice on the back, it is just regular, it's just stamps on the back, because the other ones have a solo mode mat. Now what you need to be careful of is if you look here, it says large squares, 21 and 24 solo mode. That has to do with this card. All right, so I had to make sure I got the mat that had the 21 because I was using the large squares as one of my requirements. All right, so if you look, those are just on the back, so you have a few different ones of these. You just need to make sure they correspond with the right number there. All right, so that's the one I have. All right, so what I also have, these are the appraisal tokens. I have those nearby. Now, I'm going to show you this because I am skipping steps 3 and 4 because you don't use those in the intro mode, but there is a show phase for after you graduate from this that's going to have some different cards that you can use later on. All right, now the decision deck is in the stack. So I have my decision deck. All right, and there are what, 4 player aids here for Pinzetta. Pinzetta. All right, and then it says choose a difficulty level, 1 the easiest to 3 the hardest, and they recommend starting at level 1. So we will start at level 1 since that's what it recommends to start at. Okay, so now solo mode. I said I'm going to try to bring you through 1 round here instead of the 3, so we'll go through our Friday here. Okay, I still have my other cards here that are normal for the other game. I have my tickets. I'm playing the more turquoise color. I have our tokens on the score track, and we're gonna get ready to go here. Okay, so how to play. So the first thing we're gonna do is use that event deck that is just for when you play solo with Pinzetta. Okay, so for right now, which ones are these? Okay, I'm going to put these to the side for a little bit just so you can focus on these. So this is the event deck. Now, what we're going to do first is draw one of these cards and look at only the top section. All right, so you have a good look at that. So right now I'm just looking at the top section. if you look at this section, you'll notice it has a large pile and the small pile. Okay, so what this top section is showing me is Pinzetta's daily collection. Okay, so I am going to be putting these below Pinzetta's mat here. All right, so I'm just going to move this up because right now you don't care so much about scoring, you're going to care more about Pinzetta's collection down here. So just like in the normal game, white means that I show them and the other one means that I don't show them. What I have done just to kind of keep things organized is I just kind of shuffle my stamps within the inserts because I find it easier personally. So I'm just going to go through and take from the butt and take from these because I know I have shuffled them. So I need in the large pile, it is one of these big upside down stars. The Forever stamps. Hello, Selenia. We have a kitty cat coming to help Pinzetta, I think. And then one of those little stamps, which is actually shown. Oh yeah, is this why I came? You knew I was going to draw one of these -2 dog stamps. No dog stamps around here. There's a cat currently crawling around behind me. And then the small pile is going to be one of the larger stamps. Ooh, Forever one of the fancy ones. Fancy, fancy stamp. And yeah. You come to say hi, Saul? And then we have one of these smaller ones here, a little purple flower. All right, so that's the small pile and the large pile. Okay, so that's our first step. If you notice on the solo mat, you see where it has large pile, small pile. This Otoma stamp right there, we're gonna get to in a minute. All right. So I cannot look at this upside down one because that is Pinzetta's pile. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another one of these cards. All right. Now, this one is going to help what I get to look at. So now I'm going to look at the middle section. Okay, that's what's important this time. All right. And I'm going to get one of these circles and another one. Ooh, another fancy one. Ooh, excuse me. Ooh, another fancy one. I swore I shuffled these. All right, now the other side. Star. We do get the cards. Excuse me again. All right, which are always face up, and one of the affinity ones. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place these below her daily collection. So once again, I'm just going to move this up because you're going to be more focused down here. We can always bring that back into play later. So this was her large pile, her small pile. All right, and now I'm going to place all of these kind of down here. All right, so these items down here are what is in my daily collection right now. Okay, so since they're in my daily collection, I get to actually look at the face down ones. So I'm going to flip those, because I'm going to be the one making decisions with my two piles here for this one. Okay? Now, what I also have to do is look at the instructions for the bottom part here, which for this one says, look, squirrel. This turn, reserve one item from Pinzetta's daily collection instead of your own. Reveal it if it's face down. So that's kind of the event for here. Replace the reserved item with one from your daily collection. If it's face down, it stays face down. All right. So when I get to that reserve point, it's going to be reserved from her collection and not mine. All right. So now these are technically discarded. I'm gonna leave this up here just so I remember the squirrel part. All right. The specialist, whenever you choose a pile with a forever stamp during the swap phase, you may draw and reserve one stamp face up. Fun. Okay. Pinzetta does not use the effects of attendee cards, so that is just a me thing. Okay. So now, that was the collect phase. Now we're going to the swap phase. So you can't see what I just did because I wanted you to be able to focus on this part, but I just moved on the Friday collect to the Friday swap. Okay. So let's see. Now I need to cut my daily collection into 2 piles. Pinzetta obviously already has her 2 piles. Okay. So, and I know I'm going to be reserving eventually from her pile. Well, I don't want someone to get both of these fancy ones. So I'm going to definitely split those up. Now looking at my, none of these are large squares, kind of looking at what my pieces are here. Color, theme, canceled, and my particular theme I'm interested in is space. So I definitely would prefer to get this space tile. All right. And so we can put the flower over here. So that's a large. Oh man, I want both of these. Okay. And then, all right, we're gonna split these up. All right. So I have now split my 2 piles up. All right. Now, Pinzetta, before I do my reserve, is going to appraise these items in my daily collection. And this is where it can get a little tricky. These are the appraisal tokens, so she's going to appraise mine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my 2 piles over here. Move that to the side. So how this will kind of work, these are my 2 piles. Okay. And now we're going to go through the appraisal process. So if you're looking at the rule book, this is the you cut part. Pinzetta chooses. All right. So we just finished this part. Now we're on step 1, which is the appraisal. The appraisal is explained on the next page. This is page 5 of the solo rule book. So I found even when I've played this solo in the past, I don't necessarily remember everything off the top of my head. So I generally just follow page 5 because I find it helpful. There also is a bunch of these helper cards. So it's also right there. I just find since I'm playing solo, it's just as easy to have the rule book out. So that's usually what I keep out. Okay, so to guide her to decision, Pinzetta sometimes appraises items. To do this, place the appraisal tokens next to each item, which is kind of why I brought them over here so you can see it a little better. So attendee cards and forever stamps get 1 appraisal. So this guy gets 1. And this guy gets 1. Face up rare stamps get 4. And this is why I split them up. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Other stamps. Any 2 or 3 face up with values of 2 or 3 get 1. Okay, so this will get 1 because it's a 3. All right. Oh wait, face up. Okay. And then face up or down stamps that match a stamp size in the top left corner. So these large ones. So this guy's going to get 2. I do believe this guy is actually going to have an extra one since he is a value 3. I was trying to figure out if that symbol meant small, but I think it just means face up. So if it's a 2 or a 3 value, it's going to get 1. All right, stamps that match both 3A and 3B get 3. So yep, that's what it's talking about. I'll show you here. So where it says other stamps, if it's a 2 or a 3 value, it gets 1. If it's face up and has to do with what Pinzetta is looking for, it gets 2. So that's why this little flower one has 3 appraisal, and this guy has 1 because he's not that large square size. Okay. So that is the appraisal process. There's also a rundown right here as an example. Okay, so now we've gone through appraisal. So now I get to reserve my item for my daily collection. However, since we're doing Look Squirrel over here, I'm actually going to reserve from Pinzetta's daily collection. All right. So this is, when you reserve these, you cannot reserve a rare. So I can't take that guy. So since I know they want large squares, and I know I'm going to need large squares here, eventually that might be what I take, because I don't see any face-up space ones that go with my thing. And nothing else is calling me, so I think I'm going to reserve this big one that's right here in the large pile. All right, ooh, nice. So I got a big space one. That'll be great. So that's going in my reserve. All right, so now it would tell me, because normally I would take from here for my reserve, but since I had the event, I didn't. So normally my next step would be to split my remaining items into 2 piles, with one of them having exactly one more than the other. Since I took from Pinzetta's pile, I don't necessarily need to do that, but now that I've seen the appraisal, this is where I could be reserving more. So this one has 4, 7, 8. This one has 4, 5, 6. I'm kind of okay with that because I would like this space one. Either way, I'm getting a rare. So I'm okay with that. All right. Split your remaining items 2 piles, one of them having exactly one item more than the other. So now, follow procedure in Pinzetta's pile appraisal box. We already did the appraisal part over there. We don't need to redo anything. Now we shuffle decision cards, which are these here. So it's Pinzetta's decision cards. So kind of a dark blue with the gear. All right, so I just realized I was re-looking at Look Squirrel here, and I forgot to do part 2, replace the reserved item with one from your daily collection. So I do actually have to put one of these back over here into her large pile, because that's where I took that one from. And I've been kind of debating this because I guess I'm okay either ways. I really want these and I really want these. This just also gives me my extra space piece. Okay, so I think I'm going, because right now those are not going to be ones that she likes very much, which means I'm probably getting this. So right now I'm debating, do I want this specialist or do I want this? Because right now this pile is not going to be probably as appealing to her. All right, let's go. You know what? I'm just going to put the extra infinity one. So this is now going to be here. Okay. So now I'm going to I put these here for clarity. I'm going to put them back because the idea is that one of these is large and one of these is small. So now, actually, do I really want, so that's going to really give her wanting to do that. You know what? I'm switching. I'm going to put this up here. All right. So this is actually going to be the small pile. This will be the large pile. So there's a little line here. Okay. Normally these would have all been here. I had just moved them over so you could maybe see them a little bit better. Okay, so this is my large pile and my small pile from my daily collection that I've put out. So now this is where the decision deck comes in. So first I'm gonna do this. All right, so Draw a decision card and count the number of crossed out appraisal icons. There are none. So some of these would have this crossed out appraisal icon, and that's when you would kind of mess with it. This one doesn't have any. Okay. So we don't need to discard any appraisal tokens. All right. If we did, we would discard that many appraisal tokens, it doesn't matter which, from the pile with the most tokens. Okay. So if we did have to do that, notice there's a large pile here too. All right, so that would have been 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. So technically there would have been 9 here, and there would have been 4 or 5 here, if we had to discard any. Because this is considered a discardable token. If there would be a tie, you discard from the large pile. So now Pinzetta takes the pile with the most tokens remaining. All right, so she has appraised them. She thinks this one is better, so she is going to take these stamps. So all of these appraisal tokens are going to be discarded, and these are the ones that she has taken into her collection. All right, just kind of throwing those over there. Okay, in case of a tie, she would also take the large pile. All right. So we return the appraisal tokens. All right. And now, so these are going to be mine then. Okay, which was kind of I kind of made it so I was going to be happy, I feel like, either way. So we just went with it. Okay, so now it's our turn to choose one of Pinzetta's piles. All right, so we follow the Pinzetta item appraisal procedure for her daily collection. So what we just did. All right, so I'm going from memory now. I know the specialist is 1, and the Infinity Forever stamp will be 1. This is not going to get any because it doesn't have points, and it's not what she's looking for. This one, because it has a rare, is going to be 4. And this one is a canceled stamp, so it doesn't have a value of 2 or 3. It's not what she's looking for, so this one doesn't have any. So this would be, technically right now, it is 3, 2, 4. And that's how she appraises her piles. If one pile would have 3+ appraisal tokens more than the other, which it doesn't, then swap the item with the most tokens in this pile with the one that has the least tokens in the other pile. All right, so we don't have that. There is not a 3 disparity between her appraisals because you have the 1, 2, 3, and we have just 4 over here. So that's fine. Okay, which I think means I'm gonna get kind of exactly what I want here. Okay, and there's also rules in case it was a tie. All right, so we've gone through the appraisal. So now I get to choose and take one pile. And yeah, I'm definitely taking this other rare one, which means she gets these. All right, and then we return all the appraisal tokens. All right, next would be a show phase here. Okay, we are doing intro mode, so we are not doing the show, but you can see this is where this mat really comes more into play, is if you're doing the show phase. So I'm just getting us started, so we're gonna skip that show phase for right now. All right. Yeah, so I've moved my stamp part in here. So since we are doing the intro mode, Pinzetta, as I said, is not going to score during the show. What's going to happen is really at the end of the game, if we're playing, which we're going to play on, we're playing on intro mode, and we're playing on level 1. So Pinzetta's score at the end of the game is going to be 110 points. So pretty much I need to beat 110 points to beat her on the level 1 intro mode. So what I have here is I am going to be just kind of bring you through one of these kind of stamp collection pieces. So now we're in the show phase. So I can kind of move this stuff out. So this will be the last thing that I go over with you. All right, so we're gonna bring this back down so you can see it. All right, so I have to place all of these out, and things that I'm looking for is I'm gonna have to choose one of these to score, and this is going to be the final one. One color, and I'm looking at these and handy dandy sheet here. So I do have two of the same color here. I have these two rares, but these don't really help me as much with these. And I do have two larges, so that might be something I do. All right, one theme. I do have two space. Cancel stamps, I only have one. I feel like I'm probably gonna wanna wait on that. And I wanna consider, I want some one by two holes, meaning, I'm just gonna grab this to show you. I want holes like that, but I don't have one of these to help with that right now. Okay, so let's just kind of put these in. This says canceled stamps in one group, so I'm probably gonna try to put this canceled stamp more over there. All of these are, so you have to put them in correctly. These are pretty hard for doing the hole. All right, put that there. So I kind of want this one more in the middle, so I want to make that a bigger group. There we go. Now we got one of the holes going. And then, oh, I can do this, and I got another hole. So there we go. I didn't have to put them all together like this. My brain just works better if I'm doing it this way. So I'm kind of prepping for that 1 times 2 holes at the end of the game. So I got a couple of those going. I have my canceled stamp here, so I'm gonna want that to be in a group. So I'm gonna want ones next to it. And I think the one that I'm going to score this round is probably the large squares. So I have 2 of them, so that'll be 8 points, whereas I only have 2 of these and 2 of these, and that'll only score me 6. So I know I want to get more space ones because that's my little exhibitor piece over here. So this is where I'm going to go. So I'm going to score large squares. I have 2 here, so that's going to be 8. So I'm at 8 points, where I know Pinzetta is going to be at 110. So I'll just put that cube there with the 10. That'll remind me I have to loop all the way around a couple times. Yeah, I don't usually get scores quite that high. Okay, so I scored that. So I'm actually looking at my show piece here on my little cheat sheet. So I positioned all unplaced items in my album. I score point for exhibitors, so I get 1 per space stamp, and I have 2. So I'm at 10. All right. First player token doesn't come into play because it's solo mode and we don't use it. Otherwise, that would be what that is. And then for my contest card, I did large squares. So that's after round 1, I'm at 10 points. And I need to get to 111 to beat Pinzetta. So, as you can see, this is part of the reason I'm just playing on intro mode is that already seems a little hard right now. Okay, so that is a round of solo play. Okay. If you would like me to, in a future video, go over the non-intro mode, please put it in the comments and let me know, and I will try to make another video to bring you through what happens when Pinzetta actually goes and shows the stamp collection. Otherwise, what would happen is we literally rinse and repeat for Saturday and Sunday exactly what we just did with Pinzetta's appraisals, and then at the end of the game, we would go through the final show pieces for us, and it would just be a matter of, did we beat Pinzetta's 110 points? So here's the start of my collection, and I hope that helped. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks. Bye.